Tonight, local burger restaurants are receiving statewide attention.
Why a firefighter's life was honored in New York City this morning.
And the Skyline killer's sentence has been set. We'll tell you for how long.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Scott Brubaker.
And I'm Casey Morris.
Victoria Affett has been sentenced to 29.5 years to life in prison for the killing of 93-year-old Connie Torrey. This sentencing comes after Affett pleaded guilty in January. Under her plea, she admitted to killing Torrey in 2021, robbing another woman in the same apartment building a week earlier, and committing assault in 2020.
According to investigators, Torrey was found dead in her Skyline apartment in March 2021, about 3 weeks after she was killed. Affett apologized to the Torrey family in court today during her sentencing hearing. Connie Torrey's nephew spoke on behalf of the family in court, saying he and his family want to see Affett behind bars for the rest of her life.
Some Oswego residents could soon be getting relief when it comes to their taxes. Oswego Mayor Billy Barlow announced a proposal today that would provide tax relief to people with disabilities with limited income and residents over 65 years old. The proposal still has to be approved by the Common Council next week. If approved, the relief would take effect for the 2023 tax roll.
A state grant may bring farmer-provided housing to seasonal farm workers in Oswego County. The state's Community Development Block Grant could bring up to $1 million to improve housing conditions for farm workers. Farmer-provided housing for H-2A farm workers requires undergoing a permitting process through the State Department of Health and an approved housing inspection received by the Chicago National Processing Center at least 32 days before occupancy.
The U.S. economy contracted during the first 3 months of the year, breaking a streak of 6 consecutive quarters of American economic growth. Gloria Pasmino has more on this story.
America's economy is unexpectedly shrinking. The nation's gross domestic product, a key measure of economic activity, declined in the first quarter of 2022, according to data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis released Thursday. That means it's the worst quarter for the American economy since the beginning of the global pandemic in 2020.
I think what you're seeing is enormous growth in the country that was affected by everything from COVID and the COVID blockages that occurred along the way.
So what's driving the decline?
Problem is, I got to pay a lot more at the gas tank, and every time I go into the grocery store, my bill is higher than the last time I was there. That's what's really bugging people with good reason.
While consumer spending increased, inflation remains high. Chart-topping gas prices in response to Russia's war in Ukraine are also hitting Americans in their pockets.
Most recently, the global pandemic and now Russia's invasion of Ukraine underscore the likelihood of large economic shocks and disruptions that must be addressed.
2 straight quarters of declining growth usually amount to a recession, but experts say it's no time to panic, at least for now.
No one is predicting a recession now. Some are predicting there may be a recession in 2023. I'm concerned about it.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
Many major companies have been hit hard as of late as a result of inflation. Amazon in particular has seen the slowest growth rate in 21 years.
Great Lakes Cheese is breaking ground on a new plant in western New York. The new state-of-the-art packaging plant is being built in Franklinville and Farmersville. The company will retain 228 jobs while adding an additional 215 jobs. Governor Hochul says the plant is a historic win for western New York and that New York's economic comeback is stronger than ever.
Fallen firefighter Timothy Klein, a 6-year FDNY veteran and the son of a retired firefighter, was killed in a raging house fire on Sunday afternoon in Canarsie, Brooklyn. Fire officials say smoke eaters were battling the fire when the flames swept through the second floor of the building and part of the structure began to collapse. The funeral for Timothy Klein will be held on Friday at 11 a.m. in Bell Harbor, Queens.
Onondaga County Executive Ryan McMahon says that hospitals are stressed with COVID-19 patients. McMahon says COVID-19 patients make up 7% of total patients. He also says that 126 county residents are currently hospitalized and 10 residents are in the ICU. This comes just a day after Tompkins County issued an advisory encouraging all residents to wear masks indoors, regardless of vaccination status. The New York State Beef Council's annual Best Burger competition is currently underway. The final 4 contenders are Ben's Fresh's Benny Burger, Elusive Restaurant and Bar's Empire Smash Burger, Brewer Union Cafe's Bam Bam Burger, and Ale and Angus Pub's Holy Smokers Burger. This year's winner will be announced on May 9th.
Coming up, a firefighter is reunited with a special visitor.
And gun violence continues to increase. Find out what the latest study shows.
Now let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 Assistant Chief Meteorologist Evan Bedron.
Here's what to expect. We can see a sunny weekend ahead, and with that sun, we will see temperatures nearing the upper 60s to mid 60s. But with those warm temperatures heading into next week, we can see that rain returning Monday into Tuesday. I'll have your 7-day forecast coming up after the break.
Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Donna.
And this is the Sunset Show. Grab your low-rise jeans because we're taking it back to the 2000s.
Let's go, girls.
Uggs and low-rise jeans.
Together.
One of the boys, boy.
Sorry, it's my agent. He told me that you're canceled.
Shebangy, shebangy, shebangy.
Welcome to the burial ground. We hold must-see also and all of sports entertainment.
Welcome back to the Kind of Lake Show, where we talk about anything and everything going on in our lives and yours.
Well, my birthday was November 13th, so it's been quite some time.
I think at the end we saw him get up.
I did that. I can't.
It's a winner, and I did bring a sweater for everyone.
There you go! I know your dreams.
You started the paper throwing, just the immaturity. You lost before you even argued. Pretty insane that the Clippers, 10 of the last 11 postseasons, they're in there.
Hi, welcome back to WTOP. I'm Storm Team 10 Meteorologist Evan Bedron, and here's what to expect. We can see a sunny weekend ahead, and with that sun, we will see temperatures nearing the low 60s. And with those warm temperatures heading into next week, we can see that rain return. For tonight's forecast, we can see a clear and breezy night with those clouds out of the area, but with those cold temperatures, that wind will be a factor in those. As you can see, a northwest wind at 16 to 20 miles per hour. And then as you head into tomorrow, we can see sunny and breezy again. Winds not quite as bad as tonight, but they will still be in the lower to mid-teens. And those temperatures will be nearing the 50-degree region. And then for your 24-hour temperature, we can see 40s, but decreasing throughout the night. And as they head throughout the day tomorrow, we can see those temperatures nearing the upper 60s, getting close to 50, but not quite there. And then for your pollen forecast, if you have allergies, tomorrow might be the day to bring some nasal spray with you or take some allergy medicine before heading out the door, as you will see a moderate risk for tree, weeds, and grass. Mold, not that quite bad, but as you head out the door, you do want to take extra precautions, maybe take some tissues with you. And then for, with that sun, we can see the sunset becoming more popular around Oswego, being on the lake. So what exactly causes the sun to be that reddish-orange color that you see? Well, as the sun sets, you can see the sunlight takes more time to reach the Earth. And then as you head into your 7th day, we can see on Friday, we will see breezy conditions again. Temperatures will be nearing the 50-degree region, as I said, but not quite there, with that wind being a factor in that. And on Saturday, temperatures will be reaching the 50-degree mark, but still not quite as warm for those summer activities you may have planned. But then as you head into Sunday, we will see temperatures above 60 degrees. So if you do want to get those summer activities out of the way, Sunday will be your day to do that. And then as you head later into the week, we can see on Monday there will be a chance of rain. Temperatures 60 degrees again, so if you want to get outside, make sure to bring a rain jacket out with you. Tuesday, there is a chance of showers, but temperatures will be warmer, so make sure to have a window open in case you get a little too warm inside your room. And then as you head into Wednesday and Thursday, those temperatures will be in the upper 50s. Pretty warm for this time of year, and we will see those chance of showers into Wednesday, but as you head into Thursday, just some lingering clouds from that low pressure system moving through the area. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Evan. A new analysis is showing the area of tropical forest destroyed in 2021 was enough to cover the entire island of Cuba. According to the World Resources Institute's Global Forest Watch, 11.1 million hectares of forest were destroyed. This loss was less severe than in 2020, but deforestation is still occurring at an alarming rate.
Gun violence increased in the United States during the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to a study published Thursday in JAMA Network Open, there were about 4,400 excess deaths linked to firearms from March 2020 until the following February. Researchers can't say if COVID-19 itself is a factor in this increase of gun incidents.
A happy reunion in Florida after a potentially deadly experience. Dave McDaniel reports.
I know he was sent from God to save us. The effort that he put in was just truly amazing.
I'm coming.
The body cam video shows Deputy William Pazimski doing what it takes to get to a 2-year-old on the 3rd floor as the Orange County apartment building is burning.
We're coming. Hand me your baby.
He's like, give me the baby, as he's climbing and trying to get himself sturdy. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to give you my baby.
But she did, and now little Sophie's safe.
That deputy is my hero. He's changed my outlook on law enforcement, on people, because he was prepared to lose his life to save mine and my children's.
The sheriff's office put some video and photos on social media showing a Tuesday reunion. The mother of 4 and the first responders who answered the call. 2-year-old Sophie did get a burn on her foot, but thankfully,
it's getting better, right? Because we can actually touch it.
As I saw the officer climbing up, and then I heard him talking about passing Sophie down, and that was just scary.
13-year-old Jeremiah and his siblings had managed to get out and watch the amazing rescue. Barbara said nothing was salvageable after the fire. Presently, she and her 4 kids are in a hotel, but at some point, she'll have to be starting over.
I just pray that me and the kids just have somewhere to live and call home and feel safe.
For now, credit for the rescuers.
I'm just happy I'm alive and I'm here to share my story.
Elenis's boss set up a fundraiser to help the family.
President Biden says he is considering canceling some student loan debt, but not as much as Democrats hope. While he said he was looking at expanding student loan forgiveness, forgiving $50,000 in loans per borrower is not in the cards. President Biden spoke about the possibility of student loan forgiveness during a speech at the White House this afternoon.
I am considering dealing with some debt reduction. I am not considering $50,000 debt reduction, but I'm in the process of taking a hard look at whether or not there will be additional debt forgiveness, and I'll have an answer on that in the next couple weeks.
The president made a campaign promise back in 2020 to forgive up to $10,000 of debt across the board, and he has been under pressure from Democrats to fulfill that promise.
Ottawa's police chief is planning to stop an upcoming biker rally. The plan is to prevent the potential recreation of the anti-government protests that took place in the city earlier this year. Steve Bell, interim police chief, warned organizers of the Rolling Thunder rally about the heavy police presence and road closures. The rally's organizer warned earlier this week that the event could turn into a free-for-all, with bikers being forced to deviate from a previously planned route.
Later tonight, the cigarette ingredient the FDA wants to ban.
And big changes in the value of Amazon shares.
The Kinda Late Show with Chloe and Anna. Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty. The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of time.
I do think you're wrong a lot.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. Here's your Consumer and Health Report. Amazon shares have dropped as much as 10% in extended trading on Thursday, after the company issued a revenue forecast that was below analysts' estimates. Amazon earnings are currently $7.38 per share against the expected $8.36. Still, Amazon's revenue is currently $116.44 billion against the expected $116.3 billion. Similar to Google and Facebook, Amazon attributed much of the slowdown to macroeconomic conditions and the Ukrainian war.
The first earnings report for Facebook's parent company, Meta, missed Wall Street revenue forecasts. Although Meta's profits were above expectations, it was still down 21% compared to this time last year. According to Meta, one factor hurting the bottom line is the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine, which resulted in the blocking of Facebook and Instagram in Russia. Meta is also dealing with business disruptions caused by Apple's changes to privacy practices.
A report out on Thursday will give insight to how the U.S. economy is doing. Some economists warn about the increasing chance a recession is coming. Amy Kiley reports.
Today, the government is reporting the U.S. gross domestic product for the first quarter of this year. It shows how the economy did from January through March. The White House suggests going back another 3 months to get a broader picture.
When taken together, growth over the 2 quarters is expected to be at a solid pace.
Those numbers may be from the past, but economists say they could tell something about the future.
If you look at a lot of other forecasters, they are also saying the risk of recession has been rising in recent months.
Declaring a recession is complicated, but one big indicator is 2 consecutive quarters of inflation-adjusted GDP decline. Deutsche Bank just announced it's predicting a major recession. It points to the Federal Reserve wanting to bring down rising prices by raising interest rates.
Basically, it was always going to be difficult for the Fed to get things just right, to raise interest rates just enough to tamp down demand and get inflation under control, but not too much so that it tipped us into recession.
Another factor is supply chain issues, from Russia's war in Ukraine to the pandemic and China's recent response to COVID-19.
A lot of people right now still haven't been able to find a logic behind putting thousands, hundreds of people into these fan tanks, into these makeshift hospitals. And we don't yet see the end of lockdown here in Shanghai.
A recession could affect Americans by causing unemployment and a lower standard of living. I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The National Bureau of Economic Research is the group that officially declares a U.S. recession. However, it does so retroactively after it reviews economic data from a given time period.
McDonald's is left with about $100 million in food and other items to dispose of, after temporarily shutting down its locations in Russia and Ukraine last month. The fast food chain closed restaurants in both countries due to the ongoing war. However, McDonald's says it will still pay employees at those locations. Those salaries, leases, and other supplies racked up about $27 million in expenses. There are nearly 1,000 McDonald's locations in Russia and Ukraine, which accounts for 9% of the company's 2021 revenue.
The Food and Drug for lead levels to be reduced in apple juice and other juice blends. Lead is a naturally occurring element, which means it can't be completely removed from food supply. But the FDA says if the action levels they recommended are taken, consumer exposure would be limited. This is all part of the agency's Closer to Zero action plan, which debuted in April 2021.
Menthol cigarettes may end up fading away. On Thursday, the FDA proposed a rule that would ban menthol from being used in the production of cigarettes. Nearly 19 million people smoke menthol cigarettes. The FDA says taking menthol out of cigarettes could result in saving 650,000 premature deaths over the next 4 decades. The CDC says overall smoking rates hit an all-time low in 2018, but smoking is still the top cause of preventable death.
The University of Washington has developed a new COVID-19 vaccine known as GPB510, and it will soon be shipped overseas for use. The new vaccine was developed at the University of Washington School of Medicine along with SK Bioscience, which is leading the clinical development. The two institutions are seeking the approval of South Korea's National Assembly for usage within the next month. And coming up in sports, we have Jack Franzino.
Jack, can you give us a quick preview?
Of course I can. Coming up soon, how did the women's lacrosse team fare in their game yesterday? Were the Yankees able to keep their winning streak alive? And did either of Milwaukee or Golden State advance to the second round? Find out soon.
Only on WTOP.
DeCarlo on the rebound! Alex DeCarlo!
Yeah, it's been a wild game so far. A lot of high scoring, so definitely tighten it up and play out that full 60 minutes.
Welcome back to the best show on WTOP 10. Out on our own Oswego.
Did you hear that Bad Bunny's going to be in Canada over spring break, you know?
I heard that one.
Drink a cognac. The week.
Oh, wow.
Roll it.
The Kinda Late Show with Chloe and Anna. Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty.
The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of time.
I do think you're wrong a lot.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. My name is Jack Franzino, and this is your Sports Report. Starting off with the women's lacrosse team, they had a tough loss yesterday, falling to Cortland Red Dragons by a final score of 16-5. For the Lakers, Celia Wiley stole the show with 3 goals for herself, while Julia Quirk and Shay McConnell added a pair late in the contest. It was a tough loss for them, but they look ahead to Plattsburgh this Saturday at 12 p.m. on Laker Turf Field, where they will be recognizing their seniors. And also yesterday, the men's and women's track and fields teams traveled to Cortland to play in the CNY Invitational. These were multiple strong showings throughout the tournament, as starting off with the women, Ashley Lacey finished 4th and 5th respectively within the 200 and 100-meter dash, while Abigail Controst and Fluman finished top 10 in the hammer throwing event. The Lakers will travel to compete in the SUNYAC Championship event May 6th and 7th. And moving to the diamond now, the Yankees extended their winning streak to 6 games earlier today against the Orioles. Final score 10-5. The Bombers had a great night on the back of Aaron Judge, who drove in 4 runs, 3 of whom were off a 415-foot moonshot to left field. And Anthony Rizzo continued his MVP season, going 2 for 5 with an RBI that gave the Yankees the lead. The Yankees hoped to keep their hot streak alive when they faced the Royals in Kauffman Stadium as they begin a 3-game series. And now, moving over to the NBA. The playoffs were in full effect as the Bucks beat the Chicago Bulls last night in what would prove to be an elimination game for the Bulls. Giannis Antetokounmpo had a huge night to ensure that would be the case, as he was able to put up a relatively modest, by his standards, 33 points and 9 boards. It was a great game for the Bulls' young core, but unfortunately, this might be the last game they play together. The Bucks will now look forward to the second round as they face the Celtics, who have yet to lose in the playoffs. And now moving over to Golden State, as there was another elimination game, and right off the bat we could see this beautiful ball movement on display, and Gary Payton II gives it right over to Draymond Green for the two-handed flush. Now DeMarcus Cousins showing back to his all-star form right there with a great mid-range bucket, and Nikola Jokic is just proving to everyone why he just won the MVP, driving to the lane, getting over the tough defense by Draymond Green. But now going back to Stephen Curry and the Warriors, this was a battle going late into the game as Stephen Curry and Nikola Jokic would trade back-to-back drives. It looked like a NASCAR race out there with all the driving. And Nikola Jokic was able to get that bucket, but in the end, it was this beautiful play right now by Stephen Curry to get straight to the rim with the left hand, get the layup to fall, and give the Warriors the lead that they will eventually hold on to. He put the Nuggets' playoff hopes to rest, and now the Golden State Warriors will look ahead to the second round, where they will either face Dallas or Utah.
All right, Jack Franzino, thank you very much for that sports report. That's going to do it for us tonight. Please be sure to stay tuned for OX5.
Thank you for watching, everyone, and have a great night.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.